Well, we're here now at Green Cay. This is just a couple miles from Wakodahatchee, and this is Boynton Beach.
Right.
Rather than Delray, which I guess are right next to each other. But again, this is another nice place to come. Not as many nesting birds, hardly any in fact, but still a great place that we recommend coming. I think this actually, see if you disagree, it has a longer boardwalk than Wakodahatchee.
Seems to be, yeah. A little bit longer, and you're going to see things like,
well, we got a
crested night herons,
yellow crown night heron, and gallinules. But yeah, your
red-shouldered
usuals,
hawks.
yeah, red-shouldered hawks.
So
we had some kind of a odd lizard. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, we
we're
had
going
some
to look
photos
that
of
up
it,
and
so
see
we're
what
gonna
that
look it
is.
up.
Was
I don't think
definitely
it was
not an iguana.
No, it didn't look like a young iguana.
No.
And those are prevalent in Florida because they've been released and they have no natural enemies and they just breed.
Yeah.
And the only thing that happens when it gets cold, they go into kind of a dormant state and they fall out of the trees.
Yeah, in Miami it'll be raining. In fact, they even have it in the weather report. Watch out for falling iguanas.
For iguanas. So it's some interesting stuff, and just to add, because Green Cay is so very close to
Wakodahatchee, and we should say that these are open from, I think, 6 a.m. to sunset around 7 p.m.
Right.
And on Tuesdays, the little nature center here is closed. But other than that, the boardwalk's open. Recommend you come in. And there's actually a lot more parking here than there is in Wakodahatchee.
Yes, Wakodahatchee.
Get to
as a matter of
Wakodahatchee
fact,
early.
Yes, when we left, there was a line of cars waiting to park.
And that was about 10:30.
Yeah.
11
so
o'clock.
get there early, enjoy it. Right now, if you can get there, the birds are in major nesting.
Yes,
as
you're
well
in
as
the
the
spring,
gators
late
are.
March or April through probably early May.
Right, and you got,
after that, it gets so hot that you probably don't want to come down.
Well, again, if you do really early in the morning or late in the afternoon, just before sunset, might be a good time. But plenty of boardwalk, and the nice thing is that you're at eye level with so much. It's pretty cool.
Within 3 feet, sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes you can reach out and touch them, which don't do it.
Don't do that.
But it's.
All right, well, this is Wakodahatchee, the nature center, and you might wonder if you come into this as West Palm Beach, but you might kind of wonder because it's really a sports complex. I mean, there's a golf course here. There's, I think, baseball diamonds, soccer fields, a little bit of everything. But you come all the way back to the nature center, and it used to be that you could go in the back, and they had seed spread out. It was a terrific place to photograph painted buntings, indigo buntings, but I know the nature center is closed on Tuesday, and I'm not sure. It looked like it was all overgrown. It's been probably over 10 years since we were last here. It's changed quite a bit, but there's still a nature trail here. Definitely.
There's actually two, or unless they loop around.
Yeah, maybe loop, but we're gonna go. Lots of little basilisk lizards running around.
Yeah. So if you've never gotten a photo of that, and it's a non-native species, but they're proliferating.
Well,
here.
there's also gopher tortoises. I mean, it's definitely.
There are definite natives, but there's some.
It may not.
If you've never taken a picture of an iguana.
Yeah. Well, this may be a spot that you want to add if you're in the area,
right?
But not specifically to come to here. So,
right.
How's that?
Let's do this as an add-on.
That's right. Okay. That wasn't too windy. This used to be the spot for painted buntings. There were logs and everything, but as you can see, it's kind of overgrown now. We got wild coffee in here, and the palmetto have grown up. And generally, it may be because the nature center's closed, there'd be seed all over the ground. But the only thing we got now is just a couple of doves and some squirrels that come in. But one thing I will mention here at Wakodahatchee is there are quite a few trails, and they are wheelchair accessible. I don't believe you're allowed to bring pets here, but most of them are paved. There's a few that are like lime rock, but for the most part, good marked paved trails. So definitely a nice place to take a hike anyway. Well, another spot that Fred and I hit on a recent trip to Southeast Florida was Green Cay, which is located in...
I can't see it.
It's Boynton Beach.
Boynton Beach. Anyway, sorry.
That's all right.
Jim is... You can tell a height difference because Jim can see it fine, and I'm having to kind of slink down.
Well, sometimes it's handy to be short. Well, let me put it this way. There's 100 acres.
Yes.
It was a former farm. There was a farm. And the owners sold it for 1/3 of its appraised value on one condition, that it was made into a wetlands. So the people of Boynton Beach agreed. So you can see that now.
Yeah.
How big's the boardwalk there?
About 1.5 miles.
Yeah, twice as one as Wakodahatchee. By the way, it's also within 2 miles of Wakodahatchee.
Yes. And the Nature Center is closed Sunday through Tuesday. Otherwise, it's open 9 to 3. Mm-hmm. The boardwalk is always open, sunrise to sunset. No pets, no bikes.
Right.
Because this is for people who want to walk, and especially for photographers. Now, this is a little quieter in some ways, but you can still find some cool stuff.
It didn't have the birds, but it was still a pleasant walk. There were still things to photograph. There was iguanas, and there was... I think there was 1 or 2 of the basilisk lizards there. So.
Yes. Actually, we got a couple of photographs of one of those laying on a branch.
Yeah. It's definitely...
and now these are both non-natives, but they're there and they allow them to exist.
And I'm going to put up here a link for the YouTube people to go and, if you want to see the previous on Wakodahatchee. So, yeah, definitely worth going to. And another one that Fred and I went to that actually was kind of a disappointment, and it's in West Palm Beach. It's called Wakodahatchee. Now, Wakodahatchee is basically a sports park. They've got water sports, baseball, football, soccer fields, BMX track. There's kayaking, and there's a golf course, an equestrian center, and there's a nature center. But it's quite large. How big is it, Fred?
17,002 acres.
No.
Or 1,702 acres. 1,702 acres.
Yeah,
it feels like 17,000 because
just trying to walk through some of that.
Oh, it is huge, and it's on two sides of the road. The nature center is on.
Right.
If you're going south, it's on the left side. Anyway, if you go to the nature center, which is in back, there's a nature trail back there that's
About 1.5 miles long.
yeah, 1.25 miles. There's
And
90
it's
acres.
90 acres around that center.
The nature center itself is open Wednesday through Friday, so it was closed when we were there, and it's open from 1 to 4:30. The nature trail, however, is open sunrise to sunset, and you're not allowed to bring your pets.
I guess you can bike on those trails though.
Yeah,
They
but
allow
they
that.
are paved, and so there will.
Well, there's some mostly paved ones.
handicap friendly.
Yes. But there are some ones that are just the shell
there's
as
some
you get a little
short,
further
yeah.
out. Those
It's
are kind of like
lying.
spurs.
Yeah,
I think they've tried to enlarge it. What's the one thing that we saw plenty of there?
the basilisk lizards
All
are
over the
everywhere.
place. Oh my gosh.
And they're non-native. One of the things that disappointed us, though, this was the go-to spot down there for painted buntings and even the indigo buntings. And they had a spot that was right behind the nature center, which they would bring in seed. They had some logs and sticks, but it's probably been 10 years since we've been there, and unfortunately now it's kind of overgrown. The logs were gone, and no buntings. And it could have been because the nature center was closed. We were there on a Tuesday, and nobody was there to put out seeds. There were squirrels and pigeons. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but otherwise, it may be worth a jaunt
A visit,
down there.
yeah.
It's a nice, pleasant, and there were some what do you call them? The ducks.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but I can't think of them either.
Yeah, they were.
Our old brains here.
Yes.
Oh no. So there was a pond there with
And there was some beautiful
that.
ducks in there.
And
but
there are some
of
deer in
course,
there.
As soon as we got it, they took off.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So
And it's interesting because it seems like they're not as used to people. Although we met a few that were walking there, just
yeah.
a couple with their kids that were walking through.
And there's also an interpretive trail there too. I think it's like 3/4 of an acre.
Right.
3/4 of a mile. I mean, with interpretive signs. So anyway,
Right.
definitely
It's interesting.
worth-
And
if
there
you
was
got
some
time.
marshland right by it.
Yes. Yeah.
We saw that and saw a little bit. But it's interesting because most of the wildlife stayed kind of away. So I don't know if they're not people friendly there.
And plus,
or-
we were there midday, so
Well, that's true, too.
Also, so
Well,
we always recommend early in the morning and later in the evening for the best chance of wildlife. So
Well, it felt like late
and,
afternoon.
and
then,
the best, lighting too.
Yeah. So, it's worth a try, something to look at.
Yep.
And if you're down there anyway, why not?
Why not?